Hello, beautiful people. Back with Sports Ball Talk Show, of course. Joan and Frank, we
What's
actually are on the same location this time because we are all traveling for very important top G things. So we are together there on the same camera. I'm across the table from them. We are talking about Baker Mayfield. I don't know if we talk about him this season, except for Bum of the Week. I did not think we'd talk about Baker Mayfield. He was signed by the Rams, claimed off of waivers by the Rams because the Panthers dropped him this past week and they were picked up by the Rams. So what do you guys think about that pickup for the Rams?
It's kind of crazy. I thought he was going to go to the 49ers. I didn't think they were going to keep up.
I think we all did because we're going to talk about it later, but Jimmy G got hurt. He's going to be out for the rest of this regular season. He'll be back in the postseason if everything goes well with recovery. But I figured the Niners are going to pick him up because they're in a spot where they can and will make a run even without him. But you think you'd want a guy that can come in there and play well enough. And they got Brock Purdy, who did well, but backup magic, obviously. The Rams are horrible this year. You think they would just pack it in and lose, which I guess they could still do with Baker, but it's like,
why are you signing him? And, I mean, the 49ers need somebody with playoff experience. Brock Purdy has no playoff experience.
Baker Mayfield does. Like, surprisingly enough. And like we said last week or the week before, he beat the Chiefs. I'm going to say he beat the Chiefs. They didn't on paper, but bad calls. They beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, which is insane. That was the year that they lost to the Bucs. So 2 years ago. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it makes much. I mean, I guess we don't know what they're paying him yet. It's probably going to be like $1 million. I'm sure it's like basically nothing. But I think you said right before, and John Wolford's questionable, and so that makes sense as to why, because Stafford's on IR, Wolford's questionable, and their other backup I think is in the same boat. And so they just need depth at this point because they have no one. But I don't know. I guess who else is left in the season to pick up off waivers? Like, what other quarterback do you pick up?
Nobody.
There's no one. So I guess it has to be Baker, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to play an emergency QB, like throwing a wide receiver. Like, that's just a horrible idea. We saw what the Broncos did with that 3 years ago whenever they played their wide receiver. And he threw like 3 passes and 3 interceptions that whole game, and it was horrible. So that makes sense. But do you think that let's say Baker wins some games, like best case scenario for the Rams, he wins games. Like, let's say they win out the rest of the season. They're not going to make the playoffs probably, but let's say he wins. Do you think he has a job next year in LA?
If he were to win a couple of games, I would think he would have a job as a backup to the backup. I still look. Here's the thing: Carolina Panthers are not good at all, and they have Sam Darnold and this other guy that they have over there,
PJ Walker.
Pardon? Oh, PJ Walker. Yeah, PJ Walker. I could not remember his name because he's still a nobody, at least to me. No offense to him. He's still talented.
He was an XFL quarterback for 4 games.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If Baker Mayfield was cut off from both the Browns, now the Panthers, and right now he's being signed as an emergency type of thing, I really do not see much of a future for Baker other than like a Brian Hoyer type of
that's why I'm saying if he wins out, because like I've said before, I like Baker. I think that he's just been done dirty. Like, think about the Panther situation. Unless you have some like Josh Allen type quarterback, you're not going to do well in that scheme because the coaching has been effed up this whole season. They've been trading away players, getting rid of people.
He has no weapons there.
Yeah, like there's nothing to do there. And not that Baker's played well. Like, he's still not played well. He's made bad decisions, but he's in the worst position, the worst situation a quarterback could be in is with the Panthers this year. That's the worst, I think, over any other team.
And LA's not much better. I mean, let's be honest. Like,
not at this point.
Wide receiver, they have a garbage.
But they have better coaching. They have at least a solid.
They do have a
coaching.
lot better coaching, which is a big difference.
Well, that's why I think he'll do better there than he did at the Panthers, obviously. But that's why I think if he wins all the rest of
this, he's a genius.
Exactly. Sean McVay's a genius. They still do have talent. I mean, we've said Allen Robinson, Cam Akers, I think got 2 touchdowns last week, or he at least got 1, but he might have gotten 2. So they're using Cam Akers now reliably, and they waived Darrell Williams. So they're not using him, or Darrell Henderson, I should say.
Darrell Henderson,
so I think that if Baker goes there and he wins, I mean, Matt Stafford didn't play good this year, even when he was playing. They were still losing every game. So it's like if Baker goes and wins 4 games, whatever it is, like maybe you think about looking at him because Matt Stafford's good, but he's also getting to that age where you're not going to stick with him for the next, 5 years. And if Baker goes to the Rams and does well, it's like, think about with the Browns as well. Like, he had 5 coaches in 4 years with the Browns.
Right.
Because they switched up so often. So it's like, I am excited to see him with a good coach because even though they don't have as much talent around them as he had with the Browns, at one point we had OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Njoku, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. It doesn't matter if the play calling is horrible. It doesn't matter how good your players are. There's only so many audibles you can call that, make the plays work.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see him with Sean McVay in a good scheme and see how that whole thing works. Like I said, it's probably just because I like Baker, but I think that if he does well there, then he deserves. I just think it'd be funny to see headlines: Matt Stafford and Baker are competing for the starting job in LA next year.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really matter that the Rams suck this year; they'll probably be okay next year. Probably be like an 8 or 9 win team next year because they fell off really hard after that win, and it's not even like they had a lot of issues this year that they can fix. Like, obviously there were injuries, but like we said, before the injuries, they were still playing horribly. They lost a lot of key players from that Super Bowl winning team, and so it's more so than just fixing that. But I think you get Baker in there, since you've already sacrificed so many draft picks to other teams, you get a quarterback that you can have for a couple of years, and then use what draft picks you do have to try to fill in some of those gaps and maybe go on a playoff run in a year or two. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because I think a lot of people were thinking, is he going to go to the Niners? And then he went to the Rams, which is a divisional opponent. I don't think they really care because it's not like Baker's a Patrick Mahomes type. It's like, oh man, they just got Baker Mayfield. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does there. But moving on to the complete opposite side of the opposite conference and a different division, we're going to go to the Jaguars because they're the bums of the week.
The bum of the week.
I hate the Jaguars.
Hey, Jim, you get first licks this time.
All right. Listen up, listen here, listen well. The Lions defense does not exist. You cannot find it anywhere. It is nowhere to be found. It is garbage. No offense to the Lions players, but man, I mean, come on.
Aiden Hutchinson.
They with the exception of Aiden Hutchinson, because you know what? Shout out to him. He was an absolute monster that game. There is no secondary to the Lions,
no.
And on paper, you would think the Jaguars defense could hold up against the Lions offense to some degree. At the very least, force a punt. They weren't even able to force a punt at all. Trevor Lawrence, who was on the rise, you were thinking, okay, man, he's getting himself together. He's pulling some strings. You have Christian Kirk there. You have Zay Jones. Travis Etienne, who was healthier this week.
Yeah.
No, none of that existed. On paper, this was supposed to be a close game. No, absolute blowout. How do you... And at home, I believe it was.
It was.
Yeah. Like, the Lions are at a disadvantage. They were in Jacksonville, Florida.
Well,
It's still hot.
That's the thing that shocks me so much because, like you said, the Jaguars have been on the rise. They came off a big win against the Ravens, and on paper, they're better. Trevor Lawrence, as much as he struggled in his first 2 years, he's going to be a guy someday. He's a good quarterback. He's reliable, and he's still developing. And I don't count his first year because of the coaching staff. I mean. Yeah. That doesn't count.
That was atrocious.
Like, as much as I'm not a Trevor Lawrence guy, I understand that his first year doesn't count because of coaching. I mean, there were so many off the field issues and so much drama with that he did not have a chance. But you got Doug Peterson, who's won a Super Bowl recently. Good coach, good quarterback, got a good set of receivers. I mean, it's not like they have a Tyreek Hill type receiver, but Christian Kirk's solid. You got Zay Jones is solid. You got ETN, like you said. You got a defense.
Trevor Lawrence's teammate.
What?
Yeah, I believe they were teammates at one point.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah.
And so you got that. You got a defense that's better than the Lions on paper. I mean, you got Aiden Hutchinson, but who else on that? The Lions defense is like, oh yeah, that guy's going to make a play this game. No, but you got guys on the Jaguar side of the ball that can and do make plays every game. And it was at home, like you said, and they got destroyed. I mean, we've been saying it for weeks now. The Lions are on the rise, and I think this just proved it once more because they won 3 games and then lost barely to the Bills, and the Bills were kind of questionable at that point. That makes the Lions questionable because the Bills have been having turnover issues. They've had some injuries, but they've still been playing well. But sometimes he has 3 picks, and it's like, who knows? And the Lions coming off a bunch of big wins, it's like maybe they could come in and sneak a win. It didn't happen, but it was very close. So then it's like, are the Lions good or the Bills just had an off week? Then you see this. Not that the Jaguars are a great team, but decimating them to that level is unbelievable because it's not like the Jaguars are worse in the league. They're bottom 10, but they're not the last one on that list. They're probably like 10 from the bottom in terms of talent and just all around as a team. And the Lions go in there and just destroy them. And I love the freaking MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell, bite their kneecaps off. His press conference after the game, I love because he just speaks. He doesn't think like maybe I should say this, maybe I shouldn't. He talked about he's like, I know at one point my job was on the line. I know that my job was going to get taken away from me, and then we went on a run here, and now we've won 4 of the last 5 games. And the only one we lost was against the Bills in a close game. And so it's like he's in that point now where he's got his job pretty much locked. The team already loves him, but even more so now that they're on a fucking streak.
And the city loves him.
Oh yeah,
like
everyone does.
Yeah.
I can't think of a human being that doesn't like Dan Campbell and the Lions right now. I mean, it's like I said a while ago. It's like even if you're not a Lions fan, or unless you're probably another NFC North team fan, like you can't not like what the Lions are doing right now because it's one of those franchises that's so bad historically that you see them having success, especially with a ragtag team like they have. Like Dan Campbell's like he was a player at one point. His coaching is very
player centric.
It's very
oriented. I guess
it's very different,
and it's I would argue it's familiar to the players themselves because like they can relate to all the experiences and. Him drawing from his experience, his history with a bunch of different teams. Like the players love him. He is a family type of guy. He would say with that team.
He's a non-conventional coach. That's what I was looking for. But that's why I said the same thing when Jeff Saturday got hired. I was like, I love when players I love when players become coaches.
Players that were well respected.
Which I mean, whenever he played, he was just he wasn't like the greatest, but I mean, he played. He knows the game. He understands the game. He needs to hire an assistant for clock management because that's his biggest issue. And like. For sure. Not like I'm dumping on him at all because being a head coach, especially one like him where he's trying to take everything on his plate, he has so much to do that like he's just all over the place. So hire an assistant, pay him
or me.
Let's say a very reasonable $200,000 a game, and I'll tell him when the clock's running down and needs to call a timeout or throw the ball or whatever, and that'll be it. But I think we said this like a little while ago. Like, what are the odds that the Lions going to playoff run here? And what's the only good they play the Vikings, the Jets, the Bears, the Packers,
something of the sort.
And one other team. Vikings is going to be their only tough game, which we're not going to talk about that whole thing right now because we're going to get into a big analysis of that during the spreads. But they could go on a run here, and I don't want to talk about too much about the Lions because I just love talking about it. But we're talking about the Jags right now. They're the bums of the week.
Oh,
absolutely. They're the bums of the week. I hate the Jaguars.
Garbage.
Trevor Lawrence.
They cost me my pick this week.
Listen, I respect Trevor Lawrence. You're one of those guys that's the opposite of Zach Wilson. That hey, it was my fault.
I don't know. Have you seen his speech as he's getting out of the tunnel where he's like, "All right, guys, let's go have a good game, have fun." You couldn't get me to play football with that kind of speech.
No, I mean accountability wise. Like he takes accountability when he loses.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be honest, again, as an Ohio State fan, am not the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. I do think he got kind of screwed with the Ohio State product of with Urban Meyer. Right, as head coach.
I think about when he was in college. I was like, no, Trevor Lawrence didn't get screwed.
Urban Meyer.
He's that guy in college.
Urban Meyer kind of screwed him with his development in his first year, which is important development-wise, and whatever. But I mean, that doesn't change anything this week specifically. There's no excuse for losing 40-14 to the Detroit Lions when
and that's why we once again did a full team. Like I hate doing that every week, but it wasn't a Trevor Lawrence issue. It wasn't a coaching issue. It wasn't defense. It was everything. Everything was bad. Like the Lions offense is rolling. The Lions defense is rolling. Dan Campbell was rolling. No one on the Jags team was rolling. They got 14 points. It was like 14-40, something like that.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing. So.
And that was on 2 field goals and a touchdown.
Yeah, like I want Trevor Lawrence to succeed because I think that he's a guy that can do it. He has a good mentality, and like you said, he got screwed by Urban Meyer. And one thing I do want to touch on, I want to give Trevor Lawrence some credit. I think that we're at a point in the NFL now where if a rookie is not good his first year, we write him off. That is a very recent
year or two.
No, I'm talking about quarterbacks in general because we got used to people like Patrick Mahomes coming in, first year full play, and he won MVP. He played like one game his rookie season, then came in and won MVP through like 50 touchdowns. Yeah. And so we've gotten in this habit of like, if they're not good their first year, then they're bad. And you think about like even a few years ago, like when Matt Ryan was a rookie.
Well, think about Baker Mayfield when he was a rookie.
Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield when he was a rookie was a monster.
28 touchdowns.
That's what I mean. Like we're used to that, and like and then you have the other side where it's like Johnny Manziel came in like a season and then done, which like he was not good. But my point is. Back when Matt Ryan, who's a veteran at this point, was new, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year with like very below average stats. He had like 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and I think like 3,000 yards. It was a very mediocre season, but that was enough. As a rookie, that was very impressive. And so I think that we have this expectation on rookie quarterbacks nowadays that they have to be good immediately, and that's not the case. You get Trevor Lawrence in here for a couple years, especially with really his first year with a good, reliable coach. Like I think that you give it another year or two, and the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence are going to be fine. But right now, you're the bum, and I'm sad to say it because I mean I don't like the Jaguars, but I mean I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is from my home state, so gotta respect it.
You
but
disappointed Florida.
We're going to talk about Dallas now. I think we'll talk about Dallas because
Dallas.
There's
a lot to talk about there.
Game.
Yeah. Hey, Micah Parsons. That's all I'm going to say.
CeeDee Lamb, that's all I'm going to say.
Hey, Tony Pollard, that's all I'm going to say.
Michael Gallup, that's all I'm going to say.
Hey, Ezekiel Elliott, that's all I'm going to say.
Dak Prescott, that's all I'm going to say.
Hey,
that Cowboys defense is all I'm going to say.
Dan Quinn, that's all I'm going to say.
Oh my goodness.
Big Mike McCarthy, that's all I'm going to say. The Cowboys are a freaking disgusting team. They beat the absolute...
But they're still going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
They beat... what did they beat off of the Colts? I don't even know an object that they could have beat off of the Colts. That's something I'm allowed to say. What was it, 56-19?
Let me check.
Was that the score?
It was something. It was something atrocious like that.
It was a slaughter. It was an embarrassing game.
54-19.
54-19, not 56.
And here's the thing. There was a couple of touchdowns that got called back because some foul or the knee touched the ground, and right after that foul got called, they immediately scored that touchdown back. Like the majority of that was in the fourth quarter. Care.
The majority of that was in the fourth quarter too.
Oh yeah.
So we want to talk about Dallas because. Dallas is just Dallas. What do we do with them? This is the second time. This is the second time they have done this to a team. Remember the Vikings game, 40-3. Yeah. This is the second time that the Dallas Cowboys have obliterated a team. Like it's like college football spreads with these teams. It seems like with the Cowboys at this point.
The Cowboys are hot and not hot like. Volcano blowing up in Hawaii.
They are charbroiling right now. They're being charbroiled in this NFL right now. I think the Cowboys are going to make a run. I can't see why they don't at this point because they're reliably winning
and the Packers
and they're efficient, dude. Like let's take a look here. 170 passing yards by Dak Prescott. In 170 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's ridiculous.
And the run game.
Because 220
they're starting
yards.
to do what we've said for a long time, which is give the ball to Pollard, which Zeke is still in there. He's still getting touchdowns. He's still getting like third and short targets, which is what he's good for, getting a couple yards when you need it, getting off across the end zone when you're on the 2-yard line. But Tony Pollard is making the big plays. You get Tony Pollard, you're on like 40-yard line, you need to cross field. You give it to him, and he's going to go run for 30, 40 yards. Tony Pollard is that guy.
Debatably, they're the best 1-2 punch. Like you would think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt or Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift. Now these guys are 100%. The upgrade. It is max upgrade, legendary level that you can get
because they do different things and they do them just totally. They're more efficient than Chubb and Hunt, which I think is probably the only team you could make a case for that's better. But which Chubb is better than both of them, but. As a duo, Pollard and Zeke have their niches and they stick to it and they do it well. So, what do you guys think the end of the Cowboy season going to look like? Is it a Super Bowl ring or is it playoff run or like what are you guys thinking?
Here's the thing, right now, the way I've been looking at things with injuries and everything, the Eagles are kind of on a downward spiral. Like it's not enough to where they're going to lose every game from now on. And you have been talking about this a lot, but. Because they're trending a little bit more downward and like it's going to be a little bit before they start trending back upward, Dallas is going to make their move while they're still hot right now. And while they're still hot, they're going to keep all their players fresh, everyone happy, everyone healthy. Make sure to dude, their defense. Oh my goodness, their defense is fantastic.
And think about this: they're probably going to play the Bucs in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. That is a
revenge game.
That's a disgusting matchup.
The
Cowboys are going to destroy the Bucs in that scenario. I
don't know if they do though.
Yes, they do.
The Cowboys choke.
They do, but it's different. There's reasons for that. It's injuries, it's coaching. Like there's something. This year, Mike McCarthy is a monster. Dan Quinn with that defense is disgusting. It is one of, if not the best defense in the league. The offense is scoring 50 points a game, 40 points a game. Like they've scored multiple 40 to 50 point games.
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to play Stephen A. Smith here.
I mean, it's fair because at the end of the day, the playoffs are a completely different thing, and the Cowboys just have not been good in the past couple decades in playoffs. But I feel like this year that they are unless something changes, like an injury happens, they have chemistry and they're not rolling. They are steamrolling right now. They have so much momentum that even a good ass team, you play them against the Chiefs or the Eagles, I think they just go right through them at this point. I don't see
without a doubt.
I don't think that's stopping them.
They have top tier skill players in every position.
Yes, that's what I'm. Yeah,
every single position.
You got one of the best. You got two of the best defensive players in the league in Trevon Diggs and Micah Parsons. On the back half and the front half of the field on defense, two of the best.
Yeah.
And then on offense, you have Dak Prescott, who I'm not a big Dak fan, but he's a good enough quarterback.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Solid O-line.
I'd say top 15. team.
Great receiving talent. You have a great tight end in Dalton Schultz. You have CD, Gallup, Noah Brown.
Tony Pollard has a lot of receiving upside.
Yeah, Tony Pollard did have
what a phenomenal pass catching running back. I'm not gonna lie. And then Zeke is a tank.
Yeah.
Zeke is a tank.
Yeah.
He cannot be stopped. He's being fed.
I think I have to say the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl at this point.
Do you guys think they'll sign
OBJ? I don't think it matters.
I don't think they will not, and I don't think they need him.
No, I think here's the thing, and you asked me before this, and I said they'll probably sign him because it doesn't hurt to have an extra good player. Like you don't have to use him, but he's still there to distract. I think they don't because at this point, when they have so much momentum, they need to stay focused on winning and doing what they're doing. And if they sign OBJ, that's just a distraction. Yeah, and so I think even if you would upgrade your team, because that's still a good receiver, like. Even if he's not playing like peak, like 2014 OBJ, even last year on the Rams, he was still putting up 70 yards a game. Yeah. You know, that's still good enough. Especially complimenting someone like CeeDee Lamb would be good, but I think I don't think it's worth the distraction when they have enough receivers. They have Schultz, Pollard, Gallup, and CeeDee, and that's just the few that are like the top guys. There's not other receivers that are good enough in that core. I don't think they need OBJ. I think it would hurt him because they just have the drama that comes along with them, and you can't expect his chemistry to be like that, like everyone else on the team is right now, where they are literally they are a
they're just locked in. I mean, they can't get any more focused, I feel like, than what the Cowboys were this last week against the Colts. And whether or not part of that was the fact that Jeff Saturday is a new head coach and doesn't really necessarily know how to.
There's a lot of issues with that Colts team, and I don't really want to. It's not even because I like the Colts that I don't want to touch them for bum of the week or whatever. But it's because there's a lot of weird things going on with the Colts. Like they had Matt Ryan, they benched him and said Sam Ehlinger's our guy. They said like he's hurt, but even when he comes back in 2 weeks, we're gonna not play him. We're gonna play Sam Ehlinger. They switched the scheme to that. Frank Reich gets fired. They hired Jeff Saturday like that. 3 days later, he's coaching. They win a game, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna put Matt Ryan back in now that he's healthy. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where there's a lot going on. It's like kind of like how I gave Trevor Lawrence leniency at the beginning of the season of the Jags, and like the first probably 6 weeks of the Jags season, I would have never said bum of the week because it's a whole new scheme, a whole new system. But that's kind of where the Colts are now because everything happened midseason. And that's even harder to deal with because you don't have any prep time. Mm-hmm. But the Colts look horrible right now. I'm not gonna pretend like they're a good team. They're horrible, but I think this looks better on Dallas than it does look bad on the Colts.
No, I agree with you. I just think that you gotta kind of pace yourself before you start running away with the Cowboys are gonna get the Super Bowl. Like I just don't think the Cowboys beating the Colts.
No, but the Vikings too. That's the other thing. 40-3.
Yeah, I agree. The Vikings game was big.
Dallas is definitely a contender. Both their offense and defense.
They're a top 3 team in the league right now. Oh, easy. It's them, Eagles, and Chiefs. I just Bills. You could throw in there maybe.
I see Tampa Tom making some sort of upset in the playoffs.
He did barely beat the Saints yesterday, dude. God. Tom Brady's not good anymore. I feel bad.
I feel bad.
I don't even think it's necessarily a skill. I think it's because of the off the field stuff with him. But off the field stuff matters so much in football, and I feel like people want to pretend and act like it doesn't. It does. It matters so much because you look at so many players that have off the field issues, and that ruins their careers, and that prevents them from being good. Brown. And Tom Brady's different. He's the greatest football player of all time. That's different. But going through a massive divorce. Before the season, that's
losing millions of dollars.
That's huge. That's not something anyone can just compartmentalize and then keep playing.
Right.
So I give the Bucs a little bit of leniency too,
but I don't like your family too.
That's the whole thing.
Time with your kids, your wife.
Like I've said before, 49ers were my pick, but now they have some quarterback issues because Jimmy G's down. And they have Brock Purdy, which Jimmy G's supposed to come back in 7 to 8 weeks, so he'll come back midway through the playoffs. And so one thing is you can play him whenever he comes back, but it's also do you want to? After being out for 8 weeks, do you want to throw him in the middle of an NFC Championship game? That's his first game back. That's risky. So I think that they're kind of sliding down just because of that. Even if Brock Purdy's good, could be. And like we said before, Kyle Shanahan's system isn't quarterback heavy. It's not quarterback focused, so you don't need someone that's like Patrick Mahomes to do good there. But I think the 49ers are trending down just a tad because of that. And to fill that void, I think it's Cowboys. I think the Eagles are not going to make it past the NFC Championship game, even if they make it that far. I don't know who else from the NFC would contend. Not the Bucks, not the Seahawks, not the Niners. If the Niners are going to trend down,
the Vikings.
They destroyed the Vikings. I mean, I don't think the Vikings are going to get destroyed in a game in the playoffs. They will not get blown out by the Cowboys again. But I don't see them winning. If they lost by if it was a close game, it's okay, they lost by a touchdown or two.
Miracles.
Just 2 words, Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
the amount of pressure that guy puts
Kirk Cousins, that was too much for Kirk. And I think they put up a few scores, But I still think the Cowboys take that, and I feel like at this point I can't even like make myself believe that the Cowboys aren't the team in the NFC at this point. The only thing that I have going against them is the fact that they've choked the playoffs a lot the last couple of years. But there's been issues those seasons, like we've talked about. Like Dak had that really bad injury a little while ago, and they came back and
have issues coming up.
They could, but you can't predict that for any team. You can't. Like,
I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Justin Jefferson could break his leg, and Kirk Cousins could break his leg.
God forbid.
Jalen Hurts, knock on wood. Jalen, like any one of these teams could have an issue like that. Our coach gets fired, some allegations come out. But I feel like you have to ignore that when you're making your predictions because that could happen to anyone. That could happen to anyone. I mean, there's players like OBJ that's more likely to happen to because he has drama to do with Deshaun Watson. But with teams like that where there's not anyone on any of these teams like the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Vikings that have a player that's prone to doing that type of stuff, I feel like you can't count on that happening. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about this more like next week when Dallas blows out another team. Like, we'll talk about it again, I'm sure. But the Cowboys are freaking hot right
Dallas
now.
Dallas is blowing up.
Good for them. But we're going to move on to a non-football thing right now. We're going to talk about the World Cup.
A different kind of football.
Different kind of football. Because the World Cup is going on right now, and we said we're going to do mostly football, but we're going to do other stuff too. The World Cup is on right now. It is one of the most historic World Cups of all time.
Because it's entertaining too, I think.
It's very entertaining. Oh yeah, these games are very entertaining. But there's a lot at stake here for a lot of these countries, and there's a lot of history is going to be written based on how this one goes. Because I want to just get straight into the meat and potatoes. It is Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi's probably last World Cup, and they have a good chance of playing each other in the finals.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's already written in stone that it is prophesized. Yeah. Messi and Ronaldo are facing off in the final, here's the thing. And they both have an easy road to the final.
Exactly,
arguably easy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not nothing's ever easy, but easy compared to some of the other teams. Compared to like Brazil's.
I think Portugal probably has an easier path than Argentina, just because Argentina is probably going to have to play Brazil. Right.
No, so from what I understand how everything is going to go, Argentina is going to be playing the Netherlands on Friday, and then after that, it's looking like England versus France. That's two major contenders. One of them have to get knocked out.
I think France wins.
I think France.
I'm leaning more on England.
I think France.
I feel like England is a dog in this one. Not to say like I'm a huge Brit fan. I just do. Sorry, France. I do not like the French team. That is just to me personally. I am an Argentine fan. You guys destroyed us. You guys destroyed us, and we were getting revenge. But Argentina's going to make a run. I feel like England's going to lock them up. England's got a solid defense, and then it's going to be Brazil, Croatia. I genuinely feel like Croatia's not a bad team. Brazil's a monstrosity.
Brazil's going to destroy Brazil,
them.
I think, is my third pick to go to the finals behind Argentina and Portugal. I think Brazil's right behind them. I think that's the third best team in the World Cup.
I would say they're probably the best overall team. I just think that it's been written by the FIFA gods.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's the last World Cup and these are arguably the two greatest, or at least the most two influential players in football history.
Yes.
Like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, they have had so much impact on everything. They have done a lot for the sport. They've done a lot for their families, their country, their fans, They have such an impact on everything that touches the most popular sport in the world. And so it feels like even whether it's rigged or not, you feel like you have to play Argentina and Portugal against each other in the finals. Yeah. But the other part of this that I want to talk about is the fact that Ronaldo got benched today. He did not play a game. He did not play at all today. Who did Portugal play?
Portugal played Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah. Which Switzerland, meh. But Portugal won without Ronaldo for any of that game.
6-1 against
6-1.
They got a hat trick by Ronaldo's replacement.
Ronaldo apparently had a bad attitude their last game.
Because he got taken out early.
Yeah, and so they benched him this week, which seems like a crazy idea, and it is, because Ronaldo's the best striker in the world. Like we talked about earlier, he's the best striker in the world, undeniably. There's arguments for whether Messi's a better overall player. Gio thinks he is.
I think Messi is the overall player. I don't think you can beat his skills dribbling.
No, not that way. But like in terms of who provides more value, that's arguable because.
I think Messi does.
I think Messi, because it's not only that Messi provides like his own potential as a striker or around the goal, it's his ability to read the field, feed through balls to his players, open up the space, draw attention to him.
Ronaldo does the same thing though.
Not as
much as Messi.
He's not as good without the ball as well.
Here's the thing: Messi and Ronaldo. If you want to look at it at a statistical lens,
well, I don't like talking statistics. I don't know who's better statistically.
Numbers wise, Ronaldo is, but Ronaldo's been playing for one more year than Messi has. But it's only by a sliver.
Well, I also don't, like, especially with this sport, I feel like statistics alone are not a good stat to go on because there's so much teamwork involved.
Oh no, for
and
sure.
So it depends on the team you're on. If it's like you have a lot of like assists, for example, that doesn't know you're scoring, but like assists are very, very important, obviously.
Right.
And so it's a lot of these different things. But either way, they're the two best in the world. You can make a case for either one. You guys both think Messi. I probably lean a little bit more towards Ronaldo. I think like just overall, like I think Messi's better at more things than Ronaldo, but I think that what Ronaldo is better at is more valuable than Messi, if that makes sense.
That's
just for me personally. But Portugal did not play with him at all. Portugal did not play him at all and still dog Switzerland.
Oh, no.
And so we all talk about, like, we think Argentina's probably the best team right now. Like, they're going to go to the World Cup. It's just a matter of if Portugal can get there. I think that they can get 6-1 on Switzerland and not play Ronaldo. I think they're going to go to the finals. Like, who's going to stop them?
Right. They have a very complete team.
Yeah,
solid team all around, great defense, great midfield, phenomenal
offenses.
And not to mention right now the schedule's looking in their favor. They're playing Morocco next, which I hate you, Morocco. You just
Morocco. The game was kind of boring, to be honest.
Spain played ball control and possession the whole time. That is the typical Spain fashion. I'm disappointed in you guys.
Yeah, we were watching the Japan game live, and man, we were disappointed.
I was livid.
But yeah, this is something to talk about because if it is a Portugal versus Argentina final, that will be the most watched sporting event in history of humanity.
Yeah.
Hands down,
because that is, like I said, the impact and the reach that both of these players have, and knowing that it's probably their last World Cups, and there is that debate that's been going on for years now, like Messi or Ronaldo, who's better.
I genuinely feel like this World Cup will be the deciding factor.
It will.
Because here's the thing. They both finally got an international trophy within their regions. Messi with the Copa America and Ronaldo with the Copa Europa. Now, this is the most valuable trophy.
It's the biggest stage.
This is the biggest stage. This is the final deciding factor.
And I wanted so bad. I wanted to play against each other. I wanted to play against each other so bad. I want to see that.
Drawn. This will be the most emotional match worldwide. That is a guarantee.
I just think it's interesting though between
if it does get there,
the two of them, seeing that Ronaldo has like more drama surrounding him.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing
that Messi does.
When do you think they start playing Ronaldo again, if at all?
Probably next game because the whole point of this, the coach wanted to humble Ronaldo, and according to the coach and according to reports, to make it seem like it's not even if he is a phenomenal player, even if he's the best
he's not carrying the team, basically.
Right. Like, it's not just you. The rest of the team is just as good, even with or without you. And
they
kind of proved it today.
They definitely here's the thing. What if he goes into that
and scores a hat trick? Then
what if he does the same thing next game though, and is arrogant and cocky and the exact same thing as last time? Do they bench him for the World Cup finals?
No, that would be foolish.
No, you can't.
And even if you did want to teach Ronaldo a lesson, I still think it was foolish to not play him in the event that Switzerland, for whatever reason,
that's what I think. It's like
to try to stall out the game.
I understand. Doesn't matter who you are, you cannot have that attitude. But you also got to understand that Ronaldo. Same thing can be said about Messi, but in this case, it's Ronaldo because that's what the situation is. He is that guy. Ronaldo is a monster on the field, and they played fine without him. Obviously, they destroyed Switzerland, but it's like you cannot. Even if the team is fantastic, you have you have 10 of the best players in the world, and then also Ronaldo. Him being off the field is a net negative, regardless of who else is playing. He improves the team by being on it.
And not takes attention away from other people like João Felix and who's Portugal's other striker.
I believe
I can't remember his name.
I cannot remember his name.
He takes a lot of attention away from both of them.
Yeah,
Ramos.
Pepe.
Shout out to Pepe. Pepe, you got yourself a goal. That is phenomenal.
But yeah, I think that's like one of the things where it's like the way I think about it. I feel like in his head he's thinking I can act like a dick next game too, and they're not going to bench me for the World Cup.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's like if you're trying to teach him a lesson that he can't act like that, you're not going to win that lesson because you're not going to bench him for the finals of the World Cup. The outrage that would happen for that, it would ruin Portugal. And if he goes there and plays, whether he wins or loses, he still came out thinking I can be a dick and be arrogant, and they're going to play me either way because they need me.
I mean,
and here's the thing: Argentina. Sorry to cut you off. Well, Argentina, when they've lost in the past, Messi's like, I'm taking a break from the international team. Mm-hmm. I cannot stand it, and understandably, yeah, you'll be frustrated from that. But Argentina isn't going to not knock on Messi's door and be like, hey, do you want to play with us at the very least? Come on, man, like because they understand that talent, that potential that he has, and it's just raw. And like you just need to utilize those tools as much as you can because they are outclassing everyone else that you're playing on the field.
Yeah, and I think that's really all there is to talk about right now at the World Cup, which seems kind of suckish because there's so many other teams that are doing well, like teams that deserve credit, like Brazil. I mean, South Korea did well, like Japan did well, even if they lost. It's like, but it just seems overshadowed by what's happening right here. And so this is something that we're going to talk about again next week because we're going to be even closer to that. Like, it's going to be still at that point where it's like, is it going to be Portugal, Argentina? Like, what's going to happen with that whole situation? Yeah. But we'll move on from that for now because. I don't want to get angry at Gian. Yeah, we're going to do our picks.
Pick time. Let's get it, baby.
Hey, let's go. First pick. What is that? Is that a Vegas Rams?
Well, wait. We got to go over last week.
Oh, yeah.
Update the people on the score.
Yeah, so we all went 9 for 6. Yep. 9 and 6, so very basic week. Shouldn't have bet on the Falcons.
What's all of us overall, 9 for 6?
What is
the overall? I am still leading. I am still leading.
Gian says that because he can't do math. Because we all had the exact same record, so this differential was the exact same as last week. I'm 25 and 19. Gian's 27-17. Frank is now 22 and 22, though. That's something to know. He's now even.
Frank is breaking.
He was 2 and 11 week 1.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't realize what we were doing week 1, which is why I went 2 and 11.
He's just bad.
I'm not.
Okay, Raiders at Rams.
Rams
are 6-point dogs. What do we think?
Baker Mayfield is not the answer and is not the solution. He's just. Here's the thing. Wolford is questionable to return. Wolford isn't the best man out there.
I don't think neither of their quarterbacks are.
And you know who's been an absolute dog the last couple of weeks? Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a monster.
Yes,
and you have Devontae Adams. Oh my goodness, that entire team
so
is
it's a Raiders
disgusting.
-6.
It is Raiders. I am picking Raiders. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one just across the board. All right, Vikings at Detroit. That's a big one. That's a big game because the Vikings are favored to win. Why?
I actually know Detroit is favored to win.
That's what I'm saying.
So
by 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. Here's the thing. I feel like this is a trap. Everyone's been building on the hype of the Lions. Don't get me wrong. The Lions are a great offensive team. Their defensive schemes need a little work. And don't get me wrong. Motor City Dan Campbell, awesome coach. Vikings offense is too potent. Justin Jefferson is a monster.
It seems like a bait by Vegas to make
This is
some
also
money.
a revenge game. TJ Hawkinson, who used to be with the Lions, I expect him to pop off this week. Expect him to pop off, and that's not to say that the Lions aren't going to put up a fight. But I mean, 2.5. That is such a tight spread. I still feel like the Vikings are going to win by at least a touchdown or two. So you know what? Give me the Vikings. Give me the Vikings. Skull.
I'm looking at the injuries that the Lions have.
The 2 injuries listed for this week: Romeo Okwara, the defensive end, for questionable with Achilles, and the guard Evan Brown with an ankle injury.
I wish it was Vikings -2.5 because I'd bet the Lions. But the thing is it's such a close spread and the Lions are favored to win. It's like I want to pick the Lions here because I really am on that like Lions are going to get their hype train, but favored to win is what gets me. If they're favored to lose by even a point,
they are at home, and the Lions are statistically.
I'm picking the Lions -2.5. I'm going to regret that pick, but I'm picking it.
Hey, you know what? Even if my pick is wrong, I will still be happy. Shout out to the Lions.
What are you doing, Frank?
I'll take the Vikings. I just don't see the Lions doing anything.
No, I don't think they will either, but I like them. I like MCDC too much to not bet on him in this playoff situation. Jets at Bills. -9.5. It's a big spread.
That's a big spread.
Yeah, I got Bills -9.5 because Mike White's he threw 2 picks and no touchdowns last week. We're not going to talk about Mike White,
even though he was our goat of the week last week.
Yeah, but backup Magic. We had to talk about it. Yeah. But I'm picking Bills. It's at home for the Bills as well. The Bills Mafia is insane.
Bills are at home. I'm hoping that after some time, it's been some time now since Josh Allen's had that ulnar injury. He should be coming back. Healthy. I mean, you still have a potent offense now. New York's defense still pretty solid. New York's offense. If Mike White can get things together. Maybe close.
I mean, Mike White honestly didn't play bad. He had like 300 something yards, so like he really didn't play.
He didn't play bad. A couple picks.
Yeah, but he was still efficient with moving the ball.
Right. Here's the thing: they have a solid passing game. They have a solid running game. Oh, I do not like this spread at all. 9.5 is
that's a lot of points. It is too many points.
And especially the Bills been skidding recently. I mean,
yeah.
And then let's look at the last couple games. I mean, the Jets put up 22-27 against the Vikings. I remember last game the one before that they won. So I mean, it is uncomfortable.
24-10 with the Patriots, 28-25 with the Lions, 31-23 with the Browns. They lost to the Vikings and they lost to the Jets actually the first time. So they're gonna win, but the Jets played them close. That was with Zach Wilson though, right?
You know, even with the Jets and Zach Wilson, that game was still not more than 9.5. Albeit the Patriots aren't the most phenomenal team. You know what? I respect the Jets defense. You are going to pick off Josh Allen. Josh Allen is winning it all, though. Bills at 9.5. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills.
Jets. I already wrote Jets on your name. I'll scratch it.
You should have waited for me to make my pick.
Yeah, you teased me.
Yeah, I did.
All right, what are you picking?
Jets.
Jets. Cool.
Jets.
All right, now Ravens at Steelers. Now, Lamar Jackson is hurt for a couple of weeks. He's not playing. Tyler Huntley presumably is the quarterback.
He's Huntley the quarterback?
I would imagine.
Tyler Huntley would be the main man. Yeah. And we saw Tyler Huntley last
Steelers
year.
Are favored by 2.5. Yeah, he's one of the best backups in the league.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley's easy.
Very reliable. He's a lot of he's a similar quarterback to Lamar enough that the scheme can be the same.
Right. My issue is what offensive weapons do you have? I mean, you have DeMarcus Robinson. Devin Duvernay.
Got a decent running back core.
Decent running back core.
Yeah. Mark Andrews
is solid. I just don't feel like they have anyone who can really, really step up. I mean, on paper, compared to the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth, phenomenal tight end. You comparable to the Ravens tight end.
No.
And impact for that team.
No way.
Not in skill level. Mark Andrews is way better than Pat Freiermuth skill wise, but he's an offensive weapon for that team. Then you have George Pickens, Deontay Johnson,
Najee Harris, who's actually played well last week.
Yeah. So,
but the Ravens, I mean, you got John Harbaugh. Justin Tucker can bomb them from 70 yards if they need to.
Right. They are at home.
Ravens are favored to lose. That's the thing too. Steelers are favored to win by 2.5. If they're favored to lose, that'd be easy. But they're not. They're favored to win.
And Mike Tomlin's never had a negative season.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want me to pick the Steelers.
I'm picking the Steelers. I don't care what you pick.
Oh, okay.
I'm picking Steelers.
Steelers.
It's at home.
At home.
The divisional game, dude. Pick the Ravens.
I'm picking the Steelers.
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. They will cover.
Yeah, I mean,
Justin Tucker is too much of a weapon.
Over or under 37?
Under. I think it's a low-scoring game.
Over. It is going.
I mean, we're not betting on that, but yeah, go ahead and make your own. Eagles at Giants.
Doesn't matter what the spread is. Give me the Eagles.
It's 6.5.
Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
All right. Man, I don't know. Because it's at home, and I feel like it's time for the Eagles to start slipping.
Giants tied with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, I'm picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles minus 6.5.
But I mean, that game was such a dud.
I just feel like it's time. Like I keep saying it. Like I keep saying it's time for the Eagles to start losing, but then they play bad teams, and it's like, yeah, they can't lose to a bad team.
Right.
The Giants are I mean, they're a good team, but they're not better than the Ravens. They're not better than the Eagles. So
I don't think they're better than
it's
the
at home though for New York as well.
Yeah, I'll take the Giants.
Okay.
I don't think it's.
I think it's a tough spread. 6.5 is a good spread, but
difficult.
Makes it tough to bet on.
I just don't trust anyone on the Giants that is not Saquon Barkley and
Slayton's been playing well.
Slayton's been playing okay. Richie James has been playing very good lately as well. Don't get me wrong.
Like calling Dable.
Don't get me wrong.
He's coach of the year this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you just got to think about like the talent he has versus like the Dolphins. Like Michael Daniels is good, but he also has Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and that team.
He's got monsters on that team.
Giants do not.
Dable's doing the best he can with what he's got,
and especially earlier on the season when they won
7-4 with that team.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Hey, you know what? I respect that. You're making the most out of your weapons. Eagles are still winning this. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Browns at Bengals. Bengals are favored 6.5 points.
I'm gonna do something that I don't normally think I would do. Oh, I don't want to pick
This is.
But my gut says the Browns. I am sorry.
You're picking the Browns plus 6.5.
Give me the Browns.
I think Joey B.
Joey B's been on a hot streak.
I'm going Bengals minus 6.5 at home for the Bengals. They came out a big win on
the Browns. They have such a good run.
They are going to get a couple of picks off Watson.
And well, this is the thing. It comes down to the defenses and which defense is better. And
Bengals have had a more consistent defense.
Bengals defense is consistent. Bengals offense is more consistent. Browns
are hit or miss on both.
The Bengals played their butts off against Kansas. I bet they're all tired. That was a hard-fought game. Browns. They need a win anyways. The Bengals are already pretty much situated in a good position. The Browns.
What are you doing, Frank?
I am sorry. I'm picking the Browns, but Browns.
Who won the first matchup?
I don't think it matters. The teams are so much different than they were then.
The Bengals won, or they beat the Bengals actually. So I'm gonna say the Bengals take this one.
Minus 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick Chubb is gonna destroy. And not that I want him to either, because I
Jacksonville at Tennessee minus 3.5.
Tennessee.
Here's the thing.
Jacksonville sucks.
Today I had the pleasure of talking to a Tennessee Titans fan, and you know what? Shout out to you, Titans fan at the Hyatt Place Hotel. Let me tell you something. They will win this week. They are up and down, up and down.
They just got rid of their... Mike Vrabel's going to be over the moon because they just got rid of their general manager who he hates.
So you're picking the Jags or the Titans?
Give me the Titans.
Titans minus 3.5. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do the same just because it's a small spread.
Yeah.
And it's at home for the Titans. I feel like, if it was like probably a 5 or 6 point spread, I'd pick the Jags. But at 3.5, it's Titans.
Yeah.
You picking the Titans too, Frank?
Yeah.
Okay. Houston at Cowboys. Do you even want to hear the spread?
No. Cowboys.
It is minus 17. You have to win by 3 touchdowns, basically.
What did they do to the Colts?
I'm not saying
them a big.
I'm not saying you shouldn't bet on the Cowboys. I'm just telling you, like, that's what the spread is. I want to make sure you understand how many points that
Jeff
is.
Saturday opened his mailbox. He got a fat L in it. So
you're betting the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dumb. I'm also betting the Cowboys minus 17, which is stupid because that's way too many points. The only reason they scored so many against the Colts is because they got a lot of turnovers. And were like, they got the ball in the red zone. They would have not played to keep scoring when they were up by that many points if they didn't just get the ball as much as they did.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
What did the Browns just do to the Texans, though? Right? They just won by 13.
No, it's the Cowboys minus 17.
Here's
Like,
the
you
thing,
guys should pick
every team that has played the Texans in the last couple of weeks has just demolished them.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I'm picking the Cowboys.
Demoralize the team. That team has no
But
morale
you should
anymore.
pick the Texans, Gion.
You should pick the Texans. Just because of that mustache.
I got a very good handlebar mustache.
Okay, so you're doing Texans, right?
Give me the Cowboys, baby! Cowboys in this Texas Bowl, whatever you want to call it.
Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos are 9-point dogs at home. Seems like an easy cover because the Broncos suck and the Chiefs are good, but the Broncos don't allow points. Really, their defense is still really good. It's a divisional game.
I think Juju's going to be, well, I mean, Travis Kelce just had kind of a crummy game.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter.
No, but I think he's going to bounce back here, so I'll take the Chiefs.
I'm taking the Chiefs as well. I like the Chiefs.
This game is screaming Travis Kelce, come help me. Here's the thing, Courtland Sutton is hurt. They have no offensive weapons.
Jerry Jeudy's back, though.
Jerry Jeudy's
back. Okay, so when one's gone, the other one comes back.
Yep.
But Russell Wilson still sucks. I feel like we're going to have to do that every time
I think Russell Wilson's garbage.
So you're taking Chiefs?
Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. We're just going to have to say the time and say Russell Wilson still sucks. It's 10:38 p.m.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson
still sucks. Nothing's new. You were a bum, but you're not the bum of the week. You don't even get that.
He's the bum of the month.
Panthers at Seahawks. The Seahawks are 3.5 point favorites at home.
So it's Seahawks are at home.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Why does that seem like a trap? Oh my goodness.
Seems like a trap.
It seems like a trap.
Who are you picking, Frank?
Seahawks.
Kenneth Walker's hurt. And DJ Dallas. Running wise.
Who else?
Maybe
Travis Homer. All three of the running backs.
Maybe I should take the
questionable.
Seahawks because I said, and it's proving me right the past couple weeks, that the Seahawks are starting to slip. And the Panthers win weird ones.
Dude, there's no way in hell the Panthers are going to Seattle and beating them in Seattle. If it was in Carolina, I would say
it doesn't matter, dude. The Panthers.
Shout out to my friend Andrew Green. Give me the Panthers. Give me the Panthers.
Oh, now I don't know.
I feel filthy.
All their running backs are hurt.
They're questionable. They're not. They're not out. But
I'll go with the Seahawks. I
They're
want to change my
twins.
answer. I want a chance to get up on you. I'll keep that. All right, Bucks at Niners. Niners are 3.5 point favorites at home.
Niners.
I'm taking the Niners
with
3.5.
Brock Purdy.
He played well.
Here's the thing.
Don't care.
Here's the thing. It's with the 49ers. It is not the quarterback. It is the coach. It is Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
He is a genius. That man was born with 260 football IQ.
So are you picking the Bucks then? I mean, they're dogs. I mean, they're favored to lose, so not really a bad pick.
I'll take the Bucks.
Give me Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I'm picking
I need a
Niners.
chance to get up on you guys, so
Fair.
got to choose something different.
That's one of the Sunday evening games. All right, Dolphins at Chargers. Dolphins are 3 point favorites. I already know your answer, Gene. I'm not even going to ask you.
There's no point in asking.
I'm not going to ask you what
Fins.
this.
Is Tua playing though?
Tua is questionable, and so is Teddy B. So it might be Skylar Thompson? Or I don't remember his name.
So you're both taking Fins -3?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing.
Give me the Fins.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet against the Fins.
You know what's kind of sad though with LA? It's like what else is new? It's new quarterback. Same story with like Phillip Rivers 2.0.
But here's the thing: the Chargers just had a slew of major injuries at the very beginning of their season, especially with their defense.
Yeah, but I mean,
and then Justin Herbert fractured rib cartilage. That is not comfortable to play in. And that
but there's
cartilage takes forever to heal.
LA doesn't know how to treat their quarterbacks well, and they just.
I don't think it's that LA doesn't know how to treat their quarterbacks well, but because I forgot who was the left tackle for the Chargers. Rashawn Slater. It was one of their picks. Phenomenal guy. He protected. Yeah. He was a monster. He could protect two people with each hand. He was disgusting. He made sure Herbert was safe. He opened up lanes for Eckler. When you have a bunch of those guys just off, because on paper, all of those dudes healthy, that is a solid top 3 O-line.
I mean.
I'm still picking the Fins because I love the Fins. Shout out to the Fins.
Yeah, I think the Fins, they're more complete at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Sucks for the Chargers, but last game is Patriots at Cardinals. Patriots are favored to win by 1.5 points.
Ooh, Ethan, before I make my pick, I want you to answer this question. Which team is on Hard Knocks right now? Of these two? The Cardinals.
Yeah.
You were not going to answer that question because you did not know.
I didn't.
No.
I don't know either.
That's right. Cardinals are on Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks teams usually suck.
Yeah.
Lions?
Yeah. Last year they were Hard Knocks. They were horrible.
No, Lions were Hard Knocks on the offseason. This offseason.
When they were horrible last year.
Bad last year. They've stepped it up this year.
Yeah, so
they are playing at home. They actually have a bad record at home. Give me the Patriots.
Is Colt McCoy starting?
No.
Who are you picking, Frank? I'm picking Cardinals plus 1.5. I think that Mac Jones is good, but the coaching is horrible for the Patriots right now. Not Belichick. The offensive play calling. It is, let's run it left for 1 yard, and then let's run it right for 1 yard, and let's throw it 2 yards. That's 8 short of a first down.
Harris and Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson. Absolute beast.
Yeah. He is, but the play calling did not work. Has not been working the last few weeks.
Matt Patricia does not know.
No. So I'm picking Cardinals plus 1.5.
You guys do make a valid argument. And let me tell you, it is still the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. Though.
Good. I like getting up on you, Gian. All right, well, that's the last pick, and we're done.
You're done for the night.
Yeah,
thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want to see more of down in the comments. Did you like our World Cup coverage, our commentary on that?
What sports are you guys interested in? Who is comment down below? Who is better, Messi or Ronaldo? And there's only one right answer.
That's a good one. That's a good question.
And keep staying tuned because we are going to be doing a giveaway.
Oh, and you know what? Make your picks for the World Cup final. If you do not agree with us that it will be Argentina, Portugal,
you're wrong, but go ahead.
I think it's
right.
Prophesized. Yeah. But you know what? Feel free to write down in the comments so I can dog you on that later. And you know what? Good night, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Hey, say your one-liner.
What one-liner?
Stay frosty.